This week I watched 5 movies starting with the letter H, and this is what I thought of all of them. If you're new to this series, each week I am taking a different letter of the alphabet and watching movies that start with that letter, typically recommendations by you all. This is to expand my movie horizons, but also to get better about logging movies on Letterboxd. So starting off with some recommendations I received for the letter H, I did watch Hell or High Water, and I gotta say it is probably in my top 5 westerns now. I honestly went in with no expectations and enjoyed it a lot. I think it has a lot of entertainment value, but also some like really interesting elements about class solidarity that I wasn't expecting, so highly recommend if you haven't seen it. I thought it was pretty good. It is violent, but not like as violent as some other westerns. I also watched Her for the first time and honestly was just a little bit neutral about it, a little bit maybe concerned, maybe for good reasons, maybe for bad. I'm still trying to figure it out. I do think it is an absolutely beautiful movie visually. I absolutely loved the colors. I just feel like maybe I watched it at a weird time in society or in my personal life because I know that in my workspace AI is being pushed a lot, and so I was just feeling weird about it. I've also read a lot about the impact societally of AI having like predominantly female voices and the kind of subservience of that and what that perpetuates. So even though the AI in this movie kind of developed agency along the way, I wouldn't say it was as empowering of a movie for women as like Ex Machina would. So that would probably be, as far as like AI movies, that's still above Her in my book. I don't think I've ever watched Howl's Moving Castle before, which is kind of wild, but I did this week, and I absolutely loved it. I don't think I have any like deep thoughts on it. I just really enjoyed it. I loved the kind of whimsy of it. I loved the magic. I just thought it was like an absolutely great storyline, super interesting. I loved how visually the main character would like go like oscillate back and forth between looking young versus looking old. It was just incredible. I'm glad I watched it. In the spirit of H's, I did go to see the live action How to Train Your Dragon movie, and so I thought it made sense for me to watch the animated version of How to Train Your Dragon again, just for funsies. I'll just kind of throw them in together. I absolutely love the animated version of How to Train Your Dragon. I think it's a beautiful storyline. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it, all ages. Yeah, it's one of those things that's like wonderful for the nostalgia factor, but just is like increasingly wonderful. I also just like love dragons, so big fan, highly recommend if you haven't seen the animated version. I will say, I'm probably in the few people who doesn't love that animation style. I do think the dragons look great, I just don't love how the people look in the animated How to Train Your Dragon movie, so maybe that's why I wasn't as upset about them making a live action version. I think the live action version was very beautiful, stuck to the animated version very well. Honestly, the only critique that I can give to the live action that I didn't have for the animated is like why was it made, but you know, if it introduces How to Train Your Dragon to a new generation of kids, I'm not mad about it. So I loved both. Highly recommend either. Choose your own adventure. I do promise that I tried to watch other movies that were recommended in the comments. There were just so many of them that were behind a paywall for me, like things that I don't subscribe to or you just had to rent them. And I'm still a little bit too much of a goody two-shoes to try and find alternative methods of obtaining movies. So I'm so sorry. But please leave your recommendations in the comments for movies that start with the letter I. I don't know if that's going to be hard or easy, so we'll figure it out. And I look forward to watching those movies.